Okay, we got 83 of 103 precincts reporting. That means we are only 20 precincts away from having this thing done. It is 10:17 p.m. on May the 3rd. We are 20 precincts away from having this May 3rd Republican-Democrat primary done. So we're going to revisit only the contested races. Only the contested races. Again, going to Chancellor Part 2, Richard Bud Armstrong again is at a little over 51% of the votes, 12,685 votes, to Dino Cole's 7,070 votes, or 28% of the vote, to Chancellor Pridemore's 4,846 votes. That's a little over 19% of the vote. Again, kudos to Joy and Dino Cole. Both of them worked extremely hard during this campaign. Chancellor Pridemore and his team worked extremely hard. But again, it appears that Bud Armstrong will win the Chancellor position in Part 2. I'm going to try not to call out individuals' names that text or call or comment on these lives. Again, in County Commission District 3, Gina Oster, again, with right at 72% of the vote, a little over 72% of the vote, or 1,512 votes, to Nick Saparo's 27%, or 582 votes. Again, going out to County Commission District 7, LaRonda Lee with 53% of the vote, or 2,241 votes, to Chuck Severance's 25%, or 1,075, to Alan Barrett's 21%, or 909 votes. Again, Larson J, wow, that one's getting tight. 56% of the vote, or 13,659 votes, to Steve Weiner's 43% of the vote, 10,514. We'll be talking about that one for some time to come. Again, wow, that's interesting. So in County Commission at large, seat 11, Kim Frazier with a little over 56% of the vote, or 13,810 votes, to Devin Driscoll's 10,632. What I just looked at there is this. Kim Frazier outperformed Larson J by a little more than 200 votes, 810. She got 13,810 to Larson J's 13,659. Devin Driscoll outperformed Steve Weiner by a little bit more than 100 votes, 10,632 to 10,514. It's just interesting to see how those votes parallel one another. Again, then we move on to trustee Justin Biggs with 57% of the vote, or 13,556 votes, to Richard Jacobs, 10,151 votes, or 42% of the vote. So, again, Justin is sitting at about 15%. No, not quite. 52. Yeah, right at 15% better than Richard Jacobs. A little more than 3,000 more votes than Richard Jacobs. Judd Davis in the General Sessions Division 2, besting Sharon Frankenberg. Again, both of those were supporters of BrianHornback.com. He's got 70% of the vote to her 29% of the vote, or he's got 16,380 votes to Frankenberg, 6,856 votes. So right at 10,000 vote margin of victory. Again, Tom Spangler with 71% of the vote, or 18,823 votes, to Jimmy J.J. Jones, 28% of the vote, or 7,625 votes. So again, Tom Spangler outperforming J.J. Jones significantly. Then we move down to the school board in District 7. Again, Steve Triplett, 2,550 votes, or 65% of the vote, to Sherry Garrett's 34.5% of the vote, or 1,300. So there's about a 1,200 vote difference there. Again, moving down to school board in District 9. Christie with 1,525 votes, or 64% of the vote, to Phil King's 35%, or 829 votes. And then we'll scroll on down here to the Democrats. They had a one contested race, and that was for county mayor. Debbie Helsley with 5,527 votes, or 74% of the vote, to Tyler Givens, 1,304 votes, or 17.5%, to Bob Fisher, 613 votes, or 8.2% of the vote. So that's where we are at this point. It is 10:23. We're waiting on 20 more precincts to come in. Again, kudos to Speaker of the House, Speaker of the Tennessee House, Cameron Sexton, for this cool mug. And it does say it matters who governs. So kudos to Cameron for Coke Zero. Coke Zero. Coke Zero. Kudos to Brian Hare for giving me the Glenn Jacobs hat 4 years ago. And we will, kind of hoping they get those last 20 precincts in while we're on this live. But we'll be back again a little bit later.